Hi there. Thank you so much for joining this session. Apologies, this was supposed to be a live session, but I was out with a client and had a flight that got canceled. So we're recording this beforehand, and we'll be in the chat if you have any questions. So please just direct them to the chat, and we'll get to them there. Thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to be talking about how to prompt your way to qualitative insights. So using our experience and time that we've had working with AI to teach some basics about prompt engineering when it comes to qualitative research. So, for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name's Betsy. I'm the head of product at Voxpopme, and Voxpopme provides the innovative qualitative research tools and services to researchers at many of the world's largest companies. Really driven by that desire to make human stories scalable, but also accessible. And we've been fortunate enough to partner with Microsoft for the past year or so to kind of explore how AI is going to impact the space with them and partner with them to enhance qualitative research as a whole. We've learned a lot from that experience, and I'm really excited to share that with you today. So, being a market researcher in 2024, there are definitely some challenges, right? A lot of things around resource, budget, and time constraints. Sometimes you have all three of those layered up on each other, but there's really good technology in this space, and AI really came in at a fantastic time to help us all kind of wrap our heads around more and more qualitative data. And if you're interested in having those real conversations with consumers, whether that's asynchronous through a like an app or something, or if it's live through IDIs and focus groups. Qual has never been more accessible than it is right now. So that is the really exciting thing about this time. But of course, it's a little bit of a blessing and a curse, right? Because there are a lot of tools that are giving us new and creative ways to connect with our consumers without leaving our desk. But now we have a lot of qualitative data, and it's at scales that we've never really imagined that we'd have to deal with. Before, the idea of having an analysis on 600 hours of video or something is was wild, and now not only is it something that's happening, but it's really quite easy to do. So it's a potential barrier to human connection, understanding, and insight, and it's a blessing, but it's also a little bit of a curse for us to be able to wrap our heads around these tools and everything that's on the market. And this is where the magic of AI comes in, right? Since the launch of ChatGPT in what was that, 2022, we've seen a bunch of AI integrated tools into the space, and the analysis of data has really never been more efficient than it is right now. AI can very easily summarize, segment, find patterns, and make recommendations, and give you all of these things about the research that you've conducted. And it's really enabling us to have conversations with your data in some of these tools. And you can literally ask AI questions and get answers about qualitative data. To dig even deeper, right? But get those questions instantly. So even though these LLMs are really grounded in the science of it all, it really does quite feel a little bit like magic. That being said, it's still not very easy to interact with them, right? If you've ever worked with one of these LLMs or these AIs, it's approachable, but you have to kind of play around with it, and right, and you don't even know what's really possible. It's a little bit hard to get started, and honestly, that's why you see a lot of people who are working in this space offering a lot of education, right? And because it's not enough just to press a button, and you can't have AI do everything for you. You need to bring your context and your experience with you, so that you can really know how to make a very nice prompt that is going to give you the best possible output. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk today about. We're going to talk about prompting your way to that qualitative insight. Yep. So, why does your prompting matter? I mean, it might seem really straightforward, but the difference between a bad prompt and a good prompt is the output there is just wildly different. Well crafted prompts, they optimize the AI backend and how it understands tasks, and it leads to more efficiencies in the data processing and the analysis, and it can really upskill your workflow. And it's the difference between having something that you get back from the AI and have to tweak and rewrite and look at and move, versus something that you can maybe add a little bit of color to, but not too much. So it could be the difference between an hour's extra of work easily. Also, a good prompt is going to minimize ambiguity, right? So you're more likely to get a really solid answer to a question that you actually have from a well-written prompt than you are with something that's more generic. So, some quick intro level tips for good prompt writing: clear and concise language. One of the best stories I've heard about with this is treating the LLM or the AI tool that you're working with as if they were an intern in your group. So, when you have a new person starting and you're onboarding them, you're going to use really clear and concise language. You're going to kind of assume that they don't know some things. You might even explain some terms to them. You're going to be as specific as possible, and you're going to give them as much contextual background as you can, because you understand that they don't know everything that you're talking about. And that's kind of how you have to treat these AI tools as well. One Another really cool trick that I like to do is you can ask these tools, these AI Insights or any LLM, to act like a prompt engineer. So you can ask it to give you prompts. So I'm trying to figure out this business outcome. Give me 3 or 4 prompts that are going to help me get there faster with this data set. You can really interact with it and play with it that way. It's going to give you a much more fleshed out prompt if you ask it to act like a prompt engineer. Some other things that you can see, it might be a little bit hard to see this on the screen. I hope it does look okay, but you can give these things a voice. So one of the things that I like to do personally when I prompt is give it the voice of the person that I'm going to be sending them the insight to. So for example, if I'm sending someone to our marketing team, I'll say, act like a marketing manager at a software company that is doing XYZ, and your goal is to hit this business outcome. Out of that, write me a paragraph summary with some bullet points. I give it some format consistency. I ask it to pull some quotes whenever possible, and then of course use case examples. So you can say. You can include some use cases related to your business context. I am tasked with answering the following business question, and really give as much context as possible. The richer that context is, the better the output is going to be. Sometimes you feel like these prompts can get a little bit long, like you can see in this one that I've screenshotted. It is pretty long, but look at that output. That output is something that I can quite literally copy and paste. So I like bulleted lists personally. I like having quotes about the key findings and things, and I like having the titles a little bit separate from those bullet points. So I thought that was a really good example. And then at the bottom of that screenshot, you can see it pulled out the videos, and then I can add those videos to a show reel and kind of get that highlight reel of what was said. So, best practices for prompt writing for market researchers. So, you can really lean into this persona and really get into giving your AI and prompting your AI to respond in a certain way. So, you can tailor responses to your returning audience. You can ask it to act like something or someone, and you can really keep it as your assistant during presentations. I think this part is really interesting because we've seen this happen a couple times where in a meeting you have a stakeholder that's present asks a question about a research that's been ran. So, oh, did we ask it about this? Or, oh, did anybody mention this? Or what did you find out about this thing? And having that chat as an option for you to ask the question on the side and pull something up is really exciting. And this is kind of where we see this going, where it is really more of an assistant, a way to bring that customer into the room in maybe a more interactive way, and really tailor that research to real-time questions. Additionally, the other things that we've seen here is avoiding duplication in some of the work that's being done. So we told the story when we did a recent webinar with Microsoft, but things get reran a lot because there are silos in large organizations, and the ability to look at all of the research that's been done about a certain topic and ask that question: what do our customers think about purchasing from big box stores? And being able to pull all of the videos that are relevant to that and really getting that repository up so that you can query all of it and chat with all of that data, and that's possible today. It's not as limited to a certain project or something. You can really prompt your way all the way through all the video research that you've done, whether that's something that's done asynchronously or live. And that's where it's getting really exciting. I can really see how this is kind of stacking up, right? These capabilities are letting us do a higher and higher scale, and it's really exciting to see how this is changing and helping researchers make more informed decisions about where they want to put their budget as well, making sure that budget isn't going into something that has already been ran, or a question that you already know the answer to because you recently ran a study, or a colleague that you're not very close with recently ran a study that also kind of answered that question. Those things are super interesting, and it's where prompt writing is going to really help you, is bringing out those core insights. So some prompts that Voxpopme clients like. I won't go and just read the full prompt off the screen, but giving it a lot of context about your business question. You can even give it context about your business. So I work for this brand. In this quarter, we're trying to do these things, and this is the business question that I'm trying to answer. Write me a summary. Give me some bulleted question. Give me a bulleted list. Give me some quotes. Write me up a list of follow-up questions. All of those things, and it's getting really really granular and giving it as much context as possible. So, one of the teams that we worked with at Microsoft does customer research across almost every product. It's a lot of data, and customer feedback is really integral to shaping everything they do. But it's a lot of research, and hours and hours and hundreds of hours of research. And with generative AI, they're looking to solve kind of two issues. The first is, how do we bring the customer into the room and scale those human conversations and stories? And second, how can they make that insight to action loop as short as possible, right? Because a lot of the times they were running stuff, and then there's a huge time for analysis to get pretty large slide decks created, and it was taking a very long time to go from we have videos to or we have any sort of qualitative research, whether that's videos or text open ends or any of that stuff, to we have insights. And yeah, today I'm just going to tell you a little bit of a story of what happened when they started to implement Voxpopme's AI powered research tools, and really started to apply some of the prompting, and how that changed things. So Microsoft versus the machine. This was a really interesting and fun project to run, because it was really testing the AI experience. And this is something that, to be transparent, a lot of Voxpopme clients have done, because trust is so important in this space, and you want to make sure that you can trust the tool that you're working with. And so what we've done was kind of a challenge of, we have some research that we've done manually, and we manually ran this research. We have recordings, we have transcripts, and we determine the common themes and the projects. And then we've already done that. So we take those videos that we have, we put them into the Voxpopme machine, and the Voxpopme AI will utilize all of the backend processing to also pull those themes. And like, let's have a really transparent conversation of what worked and what didn't, essentially, and how we could compare the two. So we went through a pilot with them, and really worked through some prompting, but also some like out of the box reports and what kind of happened. And it was really interesting, because, being completely honest, we can't expect AI to just replace the researcher. It's not going to happen. The researcher has context. They have education. They know the brand. They know the stakeholders involved. They know the clients and the consumers. And there's gut. They have a lot of insight into their role and what their goal is. We're not going to get to the point where you just press a button and like your research is done. So the real question from the Microsoft team was, well, how can this help a researcher who's already doing something? In this case, this researcher, she deals with a lot of vendors, right? There's a lot of vendors who are doing various various projects for them, sometimes to the point where there's like 7 or 8 different vendors that are doing various different projects. And that's a lot of information, and there's no way to just go through all of those recordings, right? So this was a really fun process, because not only are you can see the chat prompt here that we used for this, but we wanted to really compare the human analysis themes and what the AI pulled out, and see how close they really got. And there were some pieces that the human researcher caught that the AI didn't, and every single time it was one of those. It was because the AI didn't have the context. So, the one example is the context about the business question that Microsoft was trying to ask, and why they asked those questions. So we ask questions A, B, and C because we think it pulls out the humanity and the joy around loving Microsoft. That's context that the AI wouldn't have if you didn't give it to it. And then there was also some things about like tonality that the AI didn't pull. Like the AI is not going to be very good at pulling sarcasm in transcripts. It's just not there yet. I feel like until humans can really pull and identify sarcasm, we can't expect the AI to. So it was really came down to the prompting, right? And it really was down to like, how can we get this prompt as good as possible so that it's as close to the AI analysis and we can really identify those themes. So that's where we got to with Microsoft. And what we saw was there was a pretty large overlap of the things that were identified. I would say probably like 75 to 80%. I think is a fair number. There were definitely things that our researcher there, she found because of her experience, or she knew the team that was running this process, or that context, but quite a bit of overlap. So it was really great for her team to be able to go into her research that she had done, and kind of have an understanding of what was going on, being able to understand 80% of what was going on in her project without having to have an hour-long meeting with her, but also being able to get those insights and share them with other people in the business was invaluable for them, because they had other areas of the business that were looking at things like brand love and finding cool quotes, and the ability to share those really quickly was the real value there. So that being said, one of the other things that Microsoft got to test for us, and that is available now, is reporting with Voxpopme. So auto generate reports for your team and stakeholders. Some of my favorite reports right now are the job to be done one. This is really interesting for teams that are doing any sort of innovative research or product design things. We also have different summaries. We have an unexpected findings report, which has been really interesting and catching things that, like, this is the business question I'm trying to ask. What insights are in this information that don't match this business question? And that one's been pretty interesting as well. Also, yeah, the SWOT reports and the ability to make custom reports. So in those custom reports, you can do things like, information about your brand, information about your team's goals, and information about your customer, information about personas that you have. Persona reports are also really interesting. And then, of course, the ability to download, to share them, or copy as you see fit. So if you're interested in trying that reporting, or honestly any of these features, let us know in the chat. We're really excited to kind of show them to you. So TLDR. What are the 3 things I hope that you take away from today? First, that prompting is a learned skill, and you learn by doing. So the more that you can get into this and interact with these, don't be afraid. Start very general and work your way down, and just kind of learn by doing. It's super important. So yeah, if you have a specific research question that you're trying to hit, reach out to our team for help with prompting. But also you can ask ChatGPT or AI Insights if you're in Voxpopme to act like a prompt engineer and help you with it too. And yeah, keep in mind that it is AI after all. It's called artificial intelligence and not intelligence. So we're going to have overlap of things that researchers can find and the AI can find, and then there's also going to be a lot of invaluable context that you bring to these questions and this experience that you're a huge part of it. So look at these AI tools kind of like an assistant or a helper that's helping you get to your business question. Lastly, just so you know, if you scan this QR code, you can book an educational AI workshop with us. Promise it is not a very salesy experience where we're going to talk to you about things like AI tool red flags. We're going to talk about prompt engineering and some best practices. Yeah, you can just really simply scan that code and learn more to book. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll address them there. Thank you so much.